One team that I'm really excited to see more of was the Memphis Grizzlies this season, Kurt. And then terrible news with Ja Morant. He fell in a weird way on his ankle, was wheeled back into the locker room, and it came out. X-rays were negative, thankfully, but he will be out 3 to 5 weeks with a grade 2 ankle sprain. What is your concern for Memphis during this 3 to 5 week stretch without Jaren Jackson Jr. and without Ja Morant?
First off, I feel bad for him and Grizzlies fans. I feel bad for us, fans in general, right? Like, Ja Morant is fun to watch. Ja Morant is one of the most entertaining players in the league, and they were going to get more time on national TV than they're not just going to be league pass darlings this season because he's just entertaining. He makes all the plays. He scores in traffic. He shoots over guys. Like, it's so much fun, and now we're not going to see that for 3 to 5 weeks. Look, this was always a consolidation year in my head for them. I'm not sure that they were going to be a playoff team maybe in the play-in games, but that was going to be about as far as they got. But this just slows development. They don't have Jaren Jackson Jr. I'm sorry. They don't have Jaren Jackson Jr. to start the season. They don't have Ja Morant for a while. They're not going to be very good, but more than that, this just sets back the development of this team, which was what they really needed this year.
Last year, you could see the two stars starting to really gel, and it was almost, especially when they played Portland. You were thinking, okay, could this be one of the young up and coming teams in the league? And then now we're starting to see what happens when they're gone. Like, for me, the question of depth is first and foremost in Memphis. Kyle Anderson has been playing very well for them, putting up a lot of numbers. Slow-mo in their absence. Dylan Brooks as well has been playing really well, but then outside of that,
those guys are support players, right? Like in an ideal world, Kyle Anderson is your secondary, third, maybe even third shot creator, right? Like, he's a guy who can gets his buckets, gets guys set up in his way, but he's not necessarily the guy you want handling the ball every time down. Dylan Brooks is kind of the same. He works better off the ball, and they're going to be thrust into much larger roles right now. And remember, we can't even look at them. They didn't have a first round pick this year. I mean, they had a second round pick. This was going to be, I think, a Morant and JJJ this year. And without the three, it still will be ultimately when we get past this and we get into, February and everybody's back. But it really sets them back both in terms of making the playoffs and just where they want to be at the end of the season.
Yeah, because when they played against the Nets, the Nets were resting Kyrie and Kevin Durant. They went to overtime, won in overtime down the stretch. And even with Ja playing that first half, it was back and forth. And that to me was a little concerning because I'm thinking, okay, like Kevin and Kyrie, they're putting up like 50 points apiece, 7-11, they're always open. and then now I was thinking, oh my goodness, the Grizzlies are going blow for blow with a starless Nets squad. That can't be necessarily like a good sign of where this team kind of is, as far as in the pantheon. So without Ja and Jaren, in my mind, it's going to be a very, very tough slog the next 3 to 5 weeks. But hopefully some guys will get some development down the bench. I like hopefully Grayson Allen will get some more opportunities to get back into a rhythm because he has not been shooting well, and he's a shooter.
Just don't play him against Trae Young anymore. Just stop.
Yeah, that little tiff on social media.
That goes back. I mean, I remember being at the game in 2018 in Summer League when they had to be separated. Like, this one goes back.
Man, you gotta love an old beef. You gotta love an old beef.
They're pretty much that's 50 Cent Ja Rule, right? They're just right there.
And we should just end it with that. That's a mic drop. I can't wait for next week, Kurt. We need some more pop culture references.
Yeah, we'll see. Me throwing out hip hop references will drive everything.
2021 is going to be a great year.